So in 2015, I drove the 1970 Alpine White Plymouth Superbird, VIN number RM23U0A177569, from Jeffersonville, Indiana, all the way through the Midwest, the upper central of the United States, Canada, the Yukon, into Alaska, up to north of Fairbanks, south of Fairbanks, down through Anchorage, all the way down to Whittier, Alaska, drove through the tunnel at Whittier, Alaska, stopped, and turned around. 7 years later, I decided to do the same thing and left Jeffersonville, Indiana on July 19, 2022. I decided to trailer the car up into central Alberta to Edmonton, Alberta, where I'd show it at a car show, and then drive it on. As I was loading the car up, the harbinger of potential problems started. We blew the power steering return hose, loading it on the trailer. When we pulled the old hose off, I noticed it was really swollen and soft, which is generally an indicator of bad power steering fluid at some point in the past. I don't know any of the history. We replaced the hose, never had another problem on the hose on the whole trip. When I tried to tie the white car down on the trailer, because of my age and size, it's kind of hard for me to crawl underneath the car. And the week before at the Chrysler Nationals, I bought some special tie downs that fit over the wheels so that I wouldn't have to crawl under the car. Well, I found on this first day, they were a complete and total waste. I had to stop about every 100 miles, retighten them. They were constantly coming loose. When I stopped for the night, the first night I stopped at the Kalahari Resort in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Before I even checked into the hotel, I pulled those wasted pieces of garbage over the tire tie downs and crawled underneath the car, tied it down with conventional tie downs. And again, I had no more issues the entire trip. So that was July 19th. On July 20th, I left the Kalahari about 6 a.m. local time. No issues though. The tie downs were fine. I had no problems. Now, I did do a couple of things. I recreated a couple of pictures of the first trip. The first time I drove it, I stopped at Fargo, North Dakota, at the Fargo-Moorhead Visitor Center and snapped a picture of the white car in front of it. This time I did it again, but I had the purple ramp truck with the purple race car on the back of it, pulling the trailer with the white car behind it. Quite a memorable picture. Many people have asked me, how does the car keep so clean when you're doing all this driving? Well, I carry a number of cleaning devices, and literally every night I clean it off so it looks showroom new, and that's how it stays so clean. So I stopped for the night, that second night, in Jamestown, North Dakota, early evening after about 600 miles. Cleaned everything, checked everything, everything was fine. The next morning, Thursday, July 21st, I drove northwest on US Highway 52, and I got to the border around 12:30, a little bit after lunch in the afternoon. A lot of questions. What are you doing? They were concerned in Canada. I was doing commercial stuff, but no real issues. I continued on to Regina, Saskatchewan, got there late afternoon, and pulled into the hotel on the northwest side of Regina. While I was cleaning the door, I happened to look down and I had smoke coming out of the driver's door. I had an electrical fire in the door. Well, I quickly pulled everything off and I found what had happened was there is a remote mirror switch inside that door that has never worked, by the way. But apparently while cleaning it, I was leaning on it the whole time. It shorted out and melted the wires. Now, why it didn't blow a fuse, I don't know. The good news is it melted itself and went out. You know, it's quite a concern because I would have lost both cars and the ramp truck if it hadn't gone out on its own. The fourth day was Friday, July 22nd. I left Regina, Saskatchewan to go to Edmonton, Alberta. What was happening was Western Mopar Bandits had a check-in, and I wanted to get checked into the hotel and checked into that, so I left early. I started to have some problems already because you're no longer on a main road. It was routing me across a back road, and once I'm through Saskatoon, then I began the back roads trek over to Edmonton. I saw several moose, had one big, large bull moose run right across the road in front of me around lunch. Saw another one laying in a field. Had a lot of rain, a ton of road construction. One area, the road was so bad that I bottomed out the trailer and broke one of the two welds on the spare tire holder, bending it back about a foot and a half. But it was okay the rest of the trip. But the other thing, I started to have fuel issues. You see, that ramp truck pulling a trailer is 57 feet long, and I need diesel. And I wasn't finding any truck stops, so I was starting to get a little worried. Finally, I found this one fill-up site. It's some tiny little roadside. And as I pulled in, again, I bottomed out and I broke the weld holding on the right rear trailer ramp. Now, the ramp didn't fall off, but it ruined the tie down, and I had to worry about it the whole time. I got to Edmonton around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I drove to the check-in point directly through heavy traffic, didn't check into the hotel, checked in with John Van Ginkel and Ed Holland of Edmonton Mopar, and I knew right away this is going to be one heck of a show. Great guys. The people at the Blackjack Bar, they just were incredible to deal with. And there is our pre-trip by the time we get to Edmonton, Alberta.